Hey guys, I've been getting a lot of requests of my Frost Deathknight macros for PvP, so I'm going to go ahead and just make a quick little guide to run through them with you guys. So let's take a look here. We're just going to go start at the bottom of my bar, and we'll just go up the bar and just go through all the abilities on my bar. Which, as a Frost DK, there's really not that many. But you know what? I'm going to tell you them anyways. So, the first thing, I'll actually tell you the binds they're on too, just as a little bonus. So the first thing here we have is Remorseless Winter on my Q. There is no macro on that button, just a normal ability. The second one we have here on number 1 is my Chill Streak. It's not a macro, it's just an ability. Again, Death Strike on my E, not a macro, just an ability. On my Howling Blast on number 2. So again, not a macro, it's just an ability. Okay, my first macro here, Death Strike. So I'll show you the macro while we talk about it. My Death Strike is R. Or sorry, not Death Strike. My Death Grip is on my R button. But it's actually, so the macro that it is it's a shift modifier on R, so that if I hold shift, it'll grip my focus target. And if I don't hold shift, it'll just grip the current target that I'm fighting. So it's a pretty straightforward macro. My Obliterate on number 3 is also a macro. Actually, my Howling Blast is a macro too. My bad. I'll tell you about these. So my Howling Blast and my Obliterate, I have macroed to taunt pet, arena pet number 1, 2, 3, so that it'll just keep taunting the pet on cooldown. So basically, I'm just constantly taunting the pets towards me so that I can keep cleaving and killing the pets, and also, as well, I get chill streaks off the pets too, right? So I just have that bound into my abilities so that it'll just use it automatically. The next thing we have here is my Mind Freeze macro. So again, it's just a shift modifier, just like the Death Grip. So if I don't hold shift, it'll attack my it'll kick my target that I'm currently on. But if I hold shift, it'll Mind Freeze the focus target. It's pretty straightforward again there. Frost Strike has no macro on it, it's just a normal ability on my 4 key. Death Coil on my 5 key, no macro. Chains of Ice, this one's another macro, okay? So this one, it's not a focus macro like Mind Freeze and Death Grip, but it is a macro nonetheless. So what this one does is it's an at cursor macro, okay? So I'll go ahead and show you guys this. But basically, wherever my cursor is, so either if I don't have my cursor over anything, it'll just Chains of Ice my current target. But if I have my cursor over something else, it'll change that. So this is how I can Chains of Ice things that I'm not like, look, I can be attacking this guy, right? I'm fighting this guy and I can chain this guy over here. Boom. And without switching target at all. So basically that's what that's for. Because you could either have a Arena 1, 2, 3 for the Chains of Ice as well, but I don't have a Razer Naga or a multi-button mouse, so I just make do with what I can, basically. Okay, and let's see, the next thing here on the list is Blinding Sleet. It's not a macro, it's just the ability on my F key. Dark Sim, this one is not a macro, this is just like Dark Sim for my target, just a normal ability. The one beside it is just a keybind for Focus Dark Sim. So instead of having this in one key, like R and Shift R for these ones, I just have it in 2 different keys. So this one is the normal target, and Shift 3 is Focus. So it's Shift 2 for my target, Shift 3 for my Focus target for Dark Sim. And there's another macro I want to create. I need to make a mouse over too, so when I steal things, I can put them on my teammates. I need to make that as well. And let's see, the next button on here is Empowered Rune Weapon, which is on my G key, but it is a macro, but it's more so for PvE. So all that I have macroed here is I have Breath of Syndragosa, and I have Empowered Rune Weapon in 1 key. So, because 9 out of 10 times, pretty much 99% of the time actually, that you use Breath of Syndragosa, you'd want to use it with Empowered Rune Weapon, right? So I have those together, but I'm not spec'd into Breath of Syndragosa, so it just covers the ability. Anyway. Next thing is Icebound Fortitude. We don't have any macros on that, it's just plain ability. And then Pillar of Frost. This one's a big one, okay? This one's a big one. So my Pillar of Frost is basically my Swifty one-shot, okay? So show tooltip Pillar of Frost just so that it'll show when Pillar of Frost is up. But basically it's Pillar of Frost, Orc Racial, the on-use trinket, the on-use PvP trinket, and empowered rune weapon all in one, okay? Like, so look at my buffs when I push it. Boom, 4 things instantly. And then I can just start deleting people. Just literally deleting people. Let's see, what else is next? This is Transfusion's not a keybind, or sorry, it's not a macro. Not a macro for AMS, it's on my X. Anti-magic zone is a macro. Okay, so it's an at cursor macro, right? So I don't have to click the anti-magic zone. Like watch, when I place the zone, look at how there's no clicking. Boom. There it is. All you gotta do is click it once and it'll place it wherever your cursor is on the map. You just have to be careful you watch your cursor because it's basically like smart casting in League of Legends with no range indicator, essentially. Okay, the next one we have here is Frostworm's Fury, which is not a macro, it's just the ability on my V key. That's an advance on Shift E, not a macro. Okay, Death and Decay on Shift X, it is another macro. It's the same as the Death and Decay macro, okay? Or sorry, same as the Anti-Magic Zone macro. So it's just an at cursor, so look at my cursor. There it is. I just do it for efficiency's sake, basically. And the next thing we have here is Wraith Walk, no macro. It's on my mouse button up, my side mouse button up. Abomination Limb, no macro, side mouse button down. My trinket, I have it right here. It's on my mouse button, shift mouse button down. So my trinket is a macro, but it's not really like a macro like that. It's just a macro that, so the macro is just this trinket slot. So if I change out this trinket, I don't have to change the macro, you know? It's the macro is use 13. It's not actually the item. So that's how I have the same macro for every trinket. My Lichborne Macro. Okay, this Lichborne Macro, if we can take a look at this here. So it basically, all it does is okay, I'll show you. It turns you into, it uses your Lichborne for you, and then you can push the same button to Lichborne. Yeah, there you go. Like if you have runic power, it'll Lichborne and it'll death coil you in the same thing. You just keep spamming it to death coil yourself, because you can heal yourself with death coil now. Let's see what else we have here. This is not a macro. Flushcraft is alt 2, no macro. Okay, and the final macro that I have here, this is all just like PvE, like random things, utility things that aren't important. But the last macro that we have here is this macro, okay? It's a Sacrificial Pact macro. So I don't really like the DK pet because the pet will like randomly stun and put things on DR for no reason. So it's kind of a pain in the ass and can mess you over a little bit. So what this does is it casts Sacrificial. It will summon your pet for you and sacrifice the pet in the same global. So it's basically just a heal. You don't have to worry about summoning the pet and then sacrificing it. It's just one button. So look, if I click the button, I see if you don't have the power, it'll just summon it. But look, you can click it again, boom, sacrifice the pet. So it's basically just a nice 2-in-1 button for you there. So you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, that's basically all I had for you today. I just wanted to get this across. I've been getting this asked this question in the comments quite a bit, so I figured I'd give you guys the information. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and